So we're back again, and the main thing is every time I go and talk to a Gen Xer or a person who's like older than like 35, they don't understand this rigidity of the gender dynamics, and how there's like the gender wars going on still, and how all this stupid shit is still happening. You see my dog? You can't see my dog. Look, he's over there. Anyway, um, this gender war shit is so dumb, and it just needs to end. It needs to be over with, so everyone can get back to having actual healthy and normal relationship dynamics. Because I find that as a dude, doing the smallest thing can get women to just stop fucking talking to you. Just honestly, because you guys know, if you guys watch my channel and you know me personally, um, I have friends at work that I met from work who are women, and we're just cool. We're just friends. And um, out of the sudden, randomly, my one friend who I was really cool with randomly fucking removed me on one social media platform, and she I saw that. I looked up what the logo meant. Excuse me. And I could see what it means, and it means that I'm following her, and she has unadded me. For what? Just this is why I keep telling guys. I'm like, you have to bend to every whim of the woman's reality in the modern era, or you're not gonna even just be friends with them. So I was friends with her on there. I guess I'm not anymore, and I'm still friends with her sister. And the funniest part about this is, I feel like there's some type of weird. Uh, she imagines there's like a love triangle between me and her boyfriend. I don't like her at all. That's the funniest part. The one that unadded me. But her sister, I feel like I get along better with her sister. I don't know if that's because she's a fucking lesbian, but she's still my friend on Snapchat. And the straight one is not my friend anymore. Probably because she got a boyfriend and now she's not allowed to have male friends. Because that's how fucking weird people are nowadays. So, I don't fucking know. That's just the social contract between what women are supposed to provide to men and what men are supposed to provide to women is completely fucking shot. So now the dynamic between the two doesn't exist. It doesn't operate properly. You see what I'm saying? So that's the problem. Is that men aren't getting what they want and women aren't getting what they want, so we just both fucking opted out. And this goes back to the thing of the fractured social dynamic. Men and women pretty much don't talk to people they don't already know. Excuse me. Everyone I know only talks to people they already know. Especially once you hit a certain age, dude, it's done. You're only talking to certain people. You're not meeting any new people by a certain age. Like, my father hasn't met anyone new and actually had any friends in like over 10 years. And my father, this just happens when you hit a certain age. It just does. Like, you get a wife, you get kids, and that's your life now. You don't have time for your friends as much, anywhere near as much. So here's the problem though, that goes back to it, right? If the social contract doesn't exist, it's now considered socially acceptable for you to treat the opposite sex very poorly. Very poorly, for like fucking nothing. Because, like, look, here's the deal. You may have heard me in the past saying things about this or that, about this, single motherhood is unattractive. To most guys, it is, yeah. That doesn't mean you're a bad person for being a single mother. That doesn't mean you fucked up somewhere. You know what I mean? That's not what that means. That just means that if you're a single mother, and especially if you're a young single mother, you will have trouble dating. You're just going to. Like me, I probably wouldn't date a single mother. Now, personally, I am honestly at the point where I think dating up in age is kind of the only thing I can do, because all these women who are my age literally are super, their personality type and their maturity is very unattractive. Like girls who are in my age bracket, like 18 to my age, so 18 to 20, they act stupid. I don't like them. So like the only women who I've ever actually been like, yeah, I could hit her up, were like 25. You know what I mean? But that relates to this, I think so, because I feel like the older you are, the less this stupidity of the gender war affects you, and the less you're wrapped up in it. I'm not in it at all. Well, I'm not partaking in it. I'm dealing with the consequences of its existence. Because like the fact of the matter really is that women and men are not getting along anymore. Okay? And it's really childish if you ask me. It's very stupid. Because women go, oh, little boys. Men are acting like little boys. Like, how many times has a girl made fun of me because I have specific hobbies? Very often. I don't ever make fun of women unless they're doing some really dumb shit. I don't ever make fun of them. I might say to you, oh yeah, I bet you're so fucking unique and special with your, I go to coffee shops and I like matcha and I read novels about fantasy. You know how many fucking women I've met who do that? Basically every girl I know already does that shit. I'm sorry. You're not that special. Like how most men, we're not that special either. We're just fucking dudes. We're just guys. Don't make that shit sound weird, bro. I know I said it. You know what I mean? We're just guys, okay? We go to work. We go to the gym, a lot of us. We go home. We do a hobby we have. So we'll go home, play guitar. We'll go home, play video games. Go learn an instrument. We'll study piano or whatever. We might go read comics or anime, manga, watch anime. Whatever you're into. There's only so many things the average guy does, right? But the problem is that, hi Riley. The problem is that you like, I don't make fun of people's hobbies, bro. Like, if you like doing that and you're not bothering people, do that all day if you want, bro. Do that all day if you want. Unless you're like a gooner, do that all day if you want, bro. Because like I've told people, like this is the other problem, is that this is not really a men versus women thing. This is just a Gen Z thing, I think. Everyone has transfixed their identity of who they are into a thing outside of themselves. So they go, my personality is I like anime, right? For example, I don't watch anime at all. I don't like it. And a couple friends from work were like, dude, you should watch anime. And I was like, I do not want to watch anime. I will probably never watch anime. The only time I'd watch anime is if they made like a Metal Gear Solid anime. That'd be fucking it, okay? And they're like, oh, you should watch it. These are the good ones. These are the good ones you should watch. I'm like, I don't like the art style. I don't want to watch it, dude. I don't want to watch it. I'm not interested, okay? And they keep pushing and pushing. And I was like, I just don't like it. They think that's like a personal attack. Like, if I made music, I would not push the fact that I made music on everybody. I might talk about it. I wouldn't think you're an asshole for not wanting to listen to the music I made. You see what I'm saying? It's just a thing I like to do. I wouldn't think you're a dickhead for not wanting to listen to me talk about the complex lore of Metal Gear Solid. Or the mischaracterization of Spider-Man in multiple forms of media. If you don't want to hear me talk about that, that's completely fucking fine. You're not interested in that. And that shows you the women just not tolerating that shit. Like, so many women I've met who think all the time, they're like, oh, you need to be medicated. You need therapy. Because I have energy. I have energy and I get excited and I laugh loud and I do all this shit. So, like, people act like I have ADHD. Or I have, fucking, what's the other one? ADHD or autism or some shit. And I'm like, I'm just a fucking dude. I don't care. Me getting diagnosed is not going to do anything if I do have any type of mental disorder, which I don't think I do. I'm like almost positive I have no fucking mental disorder. If anything, I have like a little bit of bipolarness. Maybe I get really high and I get really low, so I don't fucking know. Whatever you call that, high and low, I don't fucking know. Here we go. Poet didn't know it. But anyway, back to the main beef. The dating problem completely stems from the fact that we just don't get along. Like, I don't know where this is coming from. Men and women just do not get along. Unless you, like, you bend your whim to the woman's will, you will not have a girlfriend, bro. Like, every girl who I know personally, their boyfriend's like a pay pig, or he just does everything for them. And you look at these guys and they just look like fucking normal ass dudes. I'm like, they look like they don't look like sub fives, but they look like normies, dude. They're not even Chads or anything. Like, so like, here's the thing, dude. As a dude nowadays, to get a girlfriend, you have to bend your life around that woman. And I never did that. That's why I've been single now since like bro. The middle of 2024. So it's been like 2 fucking years. In 2 months, it'll be exactly 2 years to the date of me not dating for a single second. I've attempted to date here and there. I had a girl talk to me over the phone. And she was so dumb, she didn't understand what I was trying to, like, see her, right? On a date. I feel like there's this other thing, like, of, like, anxiety, right? Like, this is where the divide is coming from, the anxiety around the opposite sex. Because men know how men are going to act, like, 99% of the time. And women know how women are going to act the majority of the time as well. You can't predict, what the opposite sex is going to do once they're in front of you, right? So I feel like that's the problem. And I was talking to another friend that I know through Snapchat, and she told me that I was also trying to, take her on a date or something. And her name was Anya. I think Anya. Auniua. Ania? I don't know. Anyway, she was telling me that as a child, she was assaulted, like, in that way. And I was like, that sucks. That's really sucks, man. And she was telling me that she's like, has anxiety around dating because she's been molested. And that is something I can never fathom. I understand that happens to people and that they their worldview changes after that, even as a kid, especially as a kid, because that's when it happened to her, And that happened to my ex-girlfriend too. She was molested as a child. And Anya was telling me, she was saying that happens to a lot of girls. That happens to a lot of girls, apparently. They get molested as a child. And that makes my skin crawl. That makes my stomach turn, bro. Like, the fact that people are doing that to children disgusts me, which is a completely another issue. So we're not going to dive too much into that today to conserve the time for the video. It just doesn't work, right? The whole dynamic between men and women right now, it just doesn't work. Because most guys, we have so much shit going on. I'm not saying that we're busy or that we're better than women, but we have a lot to do on a day-to-day basis. So the majority of the time, if a woman is trying to give us hints, we are not locked the fuck into what she's saying, and we're locked into something else. I'm just saying. Like, hold on one sec here. Like, the majority of the time, we are not locked into that. Because I was talking to my dad, and this is my friend who is now unfollowing me on Snapchat, and I said that when we were at the climbing place, we went to this climbing gym. So it's called bouldering. It's rock climbing without a harness. And I was saying it was me, her sister, and our mutual friend. And she was saying that, oh, dude, we were climbing this, and it's really hot. It gets hot in there when you're climbing. And I was wearing a shirt like this, and I had like some sweatpants on or something like that. I was like, damn, it's hot in here. And she said, well, you could take your shirt off. And I was talking to my dad yesterday. We were in the gun store. And I was talking to him. And he said, I said that. I looked at him. I was like, wait a damn second. And he said, yeah, but she definitely wasn't into you, huh? She definitely wasn't attracted to you, huh? And she definitely was. I hate to be that guy. She definitely was into me until she got back with her ex, and now she like barely talks to me. And that's the thing. Now, am I upset that I didn't get with her? No, because she wasn't my type. She wasn't my type, and she was politically opposed to me on majority of issues. So we would not get along long term. Plus, we work together. So if we got together and fiddled around and then broke up, I'd probably be fucked. I probably would have lost my job. But to go back to this thing of why it's not working now is women are hyper political now, and I'm political to a degree. I'm not hyper political where everything is politics, right? Like, I do think about politics occasionally. I don't think about politics every waking second of every day. I think about politics to the degree of, what I align with, and I just kind of go, if I see something that doesn't align with it, I might think of it, but I don't really compartmentalize the information, right? So anyway, there was, she's extremely left-leaning, and she's a feminist. She's like one step away from nose ring feminist. She just hasn't gotten the nose ring yet. And I feel like women are doing things to make themselves not appeal to men on purpose. Like, a lot of dudes don't like nose rings. Especially if you're like I feel like it's a political statement at this point in time, where if you do sport a nose ring, you're telling everyone like, yes, I'm a liberal. It's not an inherently bad thing, but it's just an immediate like flicker to tell everyone that, yes, I am a liberal, right? There's not one of these for conservative people. I don't want people to, if I don't know you, I don't want you to guess my fucking political affiliation. So I'm not saying if there was one, I'd wear it. Maybe the MAGA hat, I don't fucking know, because I'm not a mega Trumper. I'm not a never Trumper either. But, I mean, I don't care. Like having brightly colored dyed hair, you're probably a liberal, right? There's nothing wrong with being a liberal, as long as you're respectful about your political system. I am. I don't think you're an idiot for wanting certain things, but I agree with some other things, to be honest with you. Like, I think if we could decommodify housing, that would be great. Apparently, that means you're also a socialist, because you have to be fully in one camp or fully in the other. But if I believe that we should decommodify housing and we need to make the price of food and gas go down, I'm a fucking something of a left-leaner, apparently. I wouldn't say I sit in the middle, but I dabble on both sides of the line, to be honest with you. I don't think that everything on both sides is fully intelligent. If you're smart, you would probably go, yeah, both are. There are things on both sides that are dumb. But this goes to show you that the politics ties into the dating shit, because I was pretty verbal. My politics isn't ever changing, but it's changed a little bit since I started talking to that girl. I'm just a Christian. I'm just mainly a Christian guy. So the majority of my politics aligns with the right, but there are things on the left that I dabble in. But I do think both sides, the two-party system is fucking stupid, because it's all or nothing on both ends. But there's this, I can feel it. I know it's real, right? There's this weird animosity from particularly left-leaning people towards people with a religious faith. I'm Christian. All left-leaners hate me. They do. I don't even talk about it that much. I talk about it enough so people know I'm a Christian. I don't talk about it every single day. I talk about it moderately. Okay? I don't even tell people like, hey, dude, fuck you. You're a sinner. Go die. I've never said anything like that in my entire life. But since people have met bad Christians, they just go, oh, well, you must be a bad person because you're a Christian. But anyway, there's so much that plays into it, is that the women kind of act like if you do this or that, just you're off the table, right? And then they've also, dating is a commodity now. It's a complete commodity. You can't even get away with dating anymore, because if you're dating, you have to be on cloud, you gotta be on your P's and Q's, dude. You gotta have it set up, you gotta have it good to go. And you gotta have everything on fly, bro, because if you don't, if you have one thing out of whack, you can't date. You cannot date. Like, everyone wants their partner to be completely perfect. And then people tell me, my coworker was telling me, this is an older lady, I think she's just bitter towards the fact of me being a Christian. She was like, my standards are so high, and people tell me my standards are so fucking high, and I'm like, they're really not. My only standards are, she should be a Christian, okay? That's like the main thing, is she should be a Christian. She should believe that God exists, right? Because in my opinion, atheism is impossible. We were created by something. But anyway, to get to the dating thing, the dating standards, she should believe in God. She should not have too many bodies. So she should be on or less. She should have less than 3 bodies at my age, at 20. By the time I'm 25, I think, now the bodies thing also goes for me too. If I'm at 3 bodies, then she can have 5, for example. She can have 5 or less. Maybe 6 or less. But anyhow, I think if you've dated 6 people by the time you're 25, that's a little crazy. But anyway, under 3 bodies is not bisexual, and I don't want her to smoke or drink. Don't want her to smoke or drink. I think smoking is less bad than drinking, personally. And I mean smoke or drink on the regular, right? If she's a drinker who's quitting and she's made progress, I'd date her. And if she's a smoker who's quitting and she's made progress, I'd date her. Especially if I'm already, like, into her. I don't think those standards are that fucking crazy. My one friend said she needs to be a virgin, bro. Like, that's pushing it, okay? Anything else, I don't care, right? And then these women act like, maybe because they're bitter, I don't fucking know. They act like that if you have standards, you're just, like, bad. And even then, to take into account of, like, the body type, I really don't care. I really don't care. As long as she's not, like, uber thin, like rail thin, like she looks like she's dying, I don't care. She could be average build, she could be a little bit thin, she could be a little bit heavier, she could be chubby, she could be thick, she could be tall, she could be way tall. I'd date a woman who's like 6'5". I would. I don't give a fuck. I'd date a woman who's like 5 foot flat. I don't give a fuck how tall you are, right? I'm not like that. I date a woman who's, now as long as she's not like super fat and like she's like obese, she could be a little chubby. I don't care. Don't care. As long as you're nice to me and you have followed the other criteria I've put out, great. Phenomenal. I'm sure we'll get along and we'll have a blast, right? But people want to act like because you have any type of standards as a man, you're just a fucking bad dude. And this is only coming from women. I really do think this is a woman-based man-hating thing. Like, it just doesn't exist otherwise. The social contract between men and women is so strained and it's so out there that just, you can tell it's like over, right? This is why a lot of dudes aren't dating. Like, I've told people so many fucking times, I'm like, I'm not even looking. I'm not even looking because I have too much shit on my plate right now. I gotta take care of the house, the dog and the cat over there. I gotta take out the garbage every couple days. I gotta do everything in the house. If I want it done, I have to get it done. I have to buy my own food, all of it, right? Most people my age are not doing this shit yet. I'm 20 years old. I basically live in a house by myself 5 days a week. That's not an accomplishment, an achievement. I'm just saying I have a lot of shit to do. I have to do all my laundry myself. I have to wash all my clothes, do all my own dishes. I'm living like a 25-year-old, even though I'm 20. Now, I'm not saying that I have it so hard, I have all this shit. I'm saying I just have a lot to do on a day-to-day basis. I have to cook all my own food. I have to clean up all my own mess. After I've made food, I have to do my own laundry. I have to work out every day almost. I work out 5 or 6 days a week. See what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit to do, and then to put a girlfriend in that, it would be a beautiful thing to have. But I don't want to invite it when I know it's not going to happen and it's going to pan out well, right? I practice guitar. I have all my own hobbies and shit, and I got a lot on my plate at any one time. But that was about it. We're going to cut the video here. We're going to run out of time.